How many snaps did they run in the 14 personnel?
That's only for us.
100% of the snaps.
Welcome into 14P Fantasy. I am your host, Justin Wright. Today, we are talking league winners, but this time, instead of just second half players, we're talking guys with, elite playoff schedules, guys that, if they're on your roster, you have a very good chance, obviously, to advance every single week in the playoffs due to matchup, due to current production. A few different things can land you on this list here. We got 6 guys, 3 running backs, 3 wide receivers. Before we get into that, though, if you haven't heard or seen one of our videos in the last couple of days, we are running a jersey giveaway, specifically 2 jerseys, 2 signed jerseys. We're talking DeAndre Swift and Lamar Jackson. So let's throw it up here. These are the 2 jerseys, guys. You got the black and blue DeAndre Swift jersey, and then obviously the purple Lamar Jackson jersey. How to enter? It's simple. Subscribe to the 14 Personnel YouTube channel. You're watching this video, hit subscribe, and then send a screenshot of that to 14P Fantasy over on Twitter. All right, the handle is there. It's up in the top corner as well. All right, guys, again, subscribe, enter to win. And winners will be announced on the 29th, that Monday, either via a tweet or, we'll put out a video on YouTube. All right, guys. Let's get into it. Number 1 on the list, and you've seen us talking about him for weeks now. He was in our second half league winner video. He's a trade target the last month for us. It's Elijah Mitchell, and coming off of that Rams game, he just confirmed what we needed to see. He is the workhorse running back. Jeff Wilson and Deebo Samuel both got touches. Understandable, right? Not ideal, but Elijah Mitchell saw 27 carries. 27 of their 41 carries. He is the running back to own here. And yes, he did not get the receiving work, but they only threw 19 times. So I'm not too concerned about that. In different game scripts, he'll get more work. But Elijah Mitchell is the running back to own here. And then when you look at the playoff schedule, you get 2 top 10 matchups in Atlanta and Houston, and Tennessee in the middle. It's not ideal. Tennessee is playing out of their mind, coming off of an incredible stretch of football. But again, they don't care. The 49ers don't care who they're playing. They're going to run the ball. The Rams are a very stout run D, and Elijah Mitchell, 27 carries. So Tennessee, as long as game script permits, they're going to feature Elijah Mitchell. They don't want to feature Jimmy G. We all know this. So he feels matchup proof. He feels game script proofed. He's going to get work. If you have Elijah Mitchell, what he could do against Atlanta and Houston alone is enough to kind of say, okay, I need to go and get him now. Again, trade deadline is coming up this week for most leagues. So if you can get Elijah Mitchell, go ahead and do it. Pull the trigger on that deal. All right, number 2 here, it's David Montgomery. And Montgomery last week, week 9, played 85% of snaps, his first week back from injury. Now he's coming off the bye week. His workload is safe. All the talk of Khalil Herbert, who was admittedly very, very good, the Bears don't care. David Montgomery is their offense. He is the feature piece. And yet, it may shift to Justin Fields over the second half of the season, but the Bears know what they have in Montgomery. They know they need to get him going in order for this offense to be effective. Again, and he has 2 top 5 matchups to close out the season. And then even Minnesota, they're still a top 12 matchup. So Montgomery, you're not looking at his playoff schedule and thinking, okay, maybe I need to get cute here. Maybe I need to pivot away. He's a smash start. He's a top 12 running back, for every single week in the playoffs, barring injury, obviously. So if he's out there, and, you maybe are looking at a team that isn't performing very well and they're just looking to move on from Montgomery because they're stupid. I don't know. Go try and send trade offers out for him. Again, none of these guys are players that are going to be necessarily easy to trade for. We all know what the schedules are coming up, but they're all just guys I think are worth paying up for. Again, getting these cakewalk schedules, that's typically who wins these playoff matchups. It's who has the better matchups, or that's really what it comes down to. So it's not always best team wins. It's, who has guys in the right spot to succeed. Number 3, we have James Robinson. And again, he is going to be very, very difficult to acquire. He has been spectacular. but he came back from injury last week, assumed his regular work role. Obviously Jamal Agnew had 3 carries. I don't put too much stock in that. James Robinson still saw 17 opportunities, 16 touches. He's still the workhorse here. He's still a top 10 running back. And then you have the schedule. You have Houston, which is, again, a top 12 matchup. You have the Jets, the easiest matchup in football for running backs. And then you have New England, and they're playing out of their mind right now. But on the season, they have not really stopped running backs too well. And even if New England's still kind of playing, berserk and, Bill Belichick's doing Bill Belichick things, James Robinson's going to get pass work. He is the pass catching back here still. 5 targets in his first week back from injury. He's safe. He's a safe guy with, plus matchups down the stretch. If you can get him, go ahead and do it. I'm going to say that for every player here, so just get used to that. But it's James Robinson. He's a top 10 running back. Another guy here that is, probably untouchable, and, that's fine. If you don't have him now, you're probably not getting him. But CeeDee Lamb is going to win people leagues. He has been spectacular the last couple of weeks here. And, again, obviously the blip aside where everybody was terrible for the Cowboys here, CeeDee Lamb's going to torch the Giants, Washington, the second best matchup in football, and then Arizona, very middle of the road. And the key for CeeDee Lamb here, especially with all wide receivers, is can they get schemed out? Maybe a defense is bad, but they have a good corner that shadows and locks down guys. CeeDee Lamb doesn't have that matchup in the playoffs. He's going to be able to run free and kind of do whatever he wants. James Bradbury will most likely take Amari Cooper, with CeeDee working in the slot. So CeeDee Lamb is, if you have him already, good for you. I mean, he is about to have a hell of a playoff. And again, he's going to be on a lot of championship rosters, barring, catastrophe. Number 5 here. This one, I guarantee you it's not a name you expected to see, but it is Hunter Renfrow. And really, Hunter Renfrow, he is turned into a must-start wide receiver. Back-to-back weeks now, no Henry Ruggs, back-to-back weeks, 9 targets, over 15 fantasy points. He has become a focal point of the offense. It's him and it's Darren Waller. Those are the 2 guys. That is it. And then when you look at the matchups, Cleveland is a very whatever, it's a top 10 matchup. It's not anything crazy. Indy, top 10 as well. Where things can get difficult is going to be Denver, with Bryce Callahan in the slot there. Maybe you go away from Renfrow in that week. He was stifled by Bryce Callahan early in the season. But those other 2 matchups, he's going to be great. And even against Denver, I think without Henry Ruggs now, there's still an opportunity for him to, exceed expectations against Bryce Callahan. So Hunter Renfrow, probably a lot easier to go and acquire. He is pointing up for fantasy this year. And I mean, he's become a must-start wide receiver. There's no way around it. And to close us out, we have Devonta Smith. I get the volume is iffy still. 2 back-to-back 20-point weeks, right? Fantastic. Great work. Again, 3 touchdowns. That's not going to be the norm for Devonta Smith and this Eagles offense. But Jalen Hurts is looking better. He's looking better as a passer, and that's a huge piece of this. But the real key is he gets Washington twice. Without Chase Young now for the year, they don't have anybody else on the back end. They're not going to be able to generate pressure. Devonta Smith could go nuts, weeks 15 and 17 here in the playoffs, especially against Washington. And then the Giants, again, Bradbury is stout, so he could pose some trouble for Devonta Smith, but he is the entire passing offense. It's him and Dallas Goedert. So I do think, I'm still probably going to play him. He's at this point, I'm playing him everywhere because he's just been producing. So you got to play him. And you look at the matchups, it's damn good. It's just a damn good schedule. All right, guys, that is all we have for you. 6 names, some guys to go maybe try to trade for during this trade deadline that are going to be on a lot of championship rosters. Remember to subscribe, send over that screenshot so you get entered into the giveaway for either jersey. Again, follow me over on Twitter at Justin_14P. That is all we got, guys. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.
How many snaps did they run in the 14 personnel?
That's only for us.
100% of the snaps.